It did break a lot of boundaries, Life's Too Short, and it was excruciatingly funny, but occasionally just excruciating, which obviously is, I guess, the reality of what your life has been like from time to time.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. These are things that I spoke to Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, who wrote and directed the series, and I would tell them these little anecdotes, and then they started writing scenes that hadn't happened, but I wondered why they hadn't, because they were so real. They'd managed to get into my headspace and the headspace of somebody who was short. You know, Warwick in that series, he was so determined to do well, and every time it was going OK, something happened. Very much Laurel and Hardy-esque, or Frank Spencer. The slapstick elements come into it, but that idea of, you know, there's success, you know, within your grasp, and something comes along at the last minute to...
Well, you talk about success, but the moment you take a call from Ricky Gervais, before mobile phones, you'd have to go to a regular phone box where you may not be able to reach the phone. I mean, it's humorous, but for you, it's awful.
It is, but I had a solution, you see, and I would actually put my feet up the sides. You know, there's those little panes. I could straddle it, and we actually used that in the Life's Too Short special. There is a shot of me in a phone box doing that. And it's funny, you know, I told Ricky the story some years before, and then he showed me the script. He said, we've done, you know, the phone box thing you do. And I said, oh, God, I haven't done that for, like, 20 years. I was a kid. So then I'm having to put my money where my mouth is and do this. I couldn't walk the next day, seriously.
There's a physical reality to your condition, is that you're in pain almost all the time, and always have been.
I do experience quite a lot of pain in walking, you know, and any kind of physical exertion, the next day I'll pay for it, you know, and you know, my elbow joints, my knee joints, hip joints. But I've got a pretty high pain threshold, and I don't take painkillers. I kind of don't want to. Just kind of deal with it. Again, it becomes part of you and part of the determination to kind of conquer it and keep going through. And I think that it sort of boosts your character, I suppose.
And what about situations like when you try to apply for car insurance?
That's right, yeah, these online forms that, you know, people on the phone have to fill in, my statistics completely mess that up. You know, my height,
exist, right?
my height, my age, my weight doesn't work. You know, the computer says no. It just can't do it. It can't do it. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, I can't help it. This is who I am. You need to update your system there.
Have you been instrumental in changing quite a lot of that, simply because of your very high-profile status?
I'd like to think so. I don't know. I mean, the world is a very diverse place, and we need to make sure that, you know, in all areas of life, you know, society can cope with that diversity, you know. People are more educated than they used to be, and, you know, I hope that the fact that I'm on television makes dwarfism more the norm. And so it doesn't become something that we have to point and stare and laugh at anymore. And I feel like progress is happening, very slowly, but I feel like we're getting somewhere.